Hello, I'm Quentin McLean. I'm here with another Q&A. I'm here with Omari Booker.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being in this Q&A. Really, thank you very much. The questions concerning this one will be along with your upcoming show, BE, or should it be called BE?
Let's call it B.
B, right?
Yeah,
Yes. My first question. I want to understand B's way of life, how he lives. I want to understand your depiction of it, the sort of conversation you're wishing to create or be discussed.
yeah. Well, B lives under a church pavilion, so he lives outside. He lives outside intentionally. He's had some potential opportunities to live inside and decided that wasn't really how he wanted to exist, and so yeah, he lives. It's pretty minimal. The things that he exists on, he kind of eats what he needs at the time, and Um, as far as shelter, even in cold weather, he's pretty much out there. Really hot weather, he's pretty much out there. And I was just inspired by watching him kind of sit presently in his place in the world and observe. Like I kind of was seeing him observe the world as it passed him, and as I was kind of consistently driving by, and then eventually met him and started having a relationship with him. Got to know him. I was inspired to start making paintings because he just seemed like a really interesting person, and also an interesting kind of life philosophy.
Mm, okay.
Yeah,
Then sort of on the same line, I want to get into more of I guess your one-on-one relationship would be, or I wanted to understand what paint you wouldn't typically receive from your paintings, a little just maybe personality, little facts, just understand that deeper relationship between you two, what you know about him, what can be betrayed, what cannot, or what you could tell me.
yeah. Well, you know, I know that he grew up in Nashville. I know he went to NSA, so Nashville School of the Arts was his high school, and he's been living under the church pavilion for about 10 years. That's an estimate, but right around that amount of time. And his conversation is always a little bit beyond what's going on in the day to day. He has really philosophical conversations, and he does chit chat and small talk, and he will say like, "Oh yeah, it's but the weather, politics, like the things that most people are talking about. If you stop and talk to him, those aren't what he's talking about. It's not what he's thinking about. He's usually thinking about um, things that I just wasn't really coming across with most of my conversations with people who are really occupied by what their day to day life looks like. Kids, rent, bills, you know, wow, the state of the world. Like he was pretty much um, in a container in this sort of neighborhood block, and that's where a lot of his conversation is around. So it's kind of been the presence that he lives with and lives in. I found that inspiring, and also just the way that he looks. I mean, this is a painting of him, and he just has a striking look. And so once I felt that draw to paint him once, and then as I got to know him and see him in more surroundings and see the area that he lived in, I decided I wanted to paint that. It just naturally turned into a series, turned into a body of work. It's now probably around 40 pieces or so.
Okay, okay. Then I'm getting into a bit of a flow here. So along that same vein, 40 pieces, that is a lot for as an artist myself, looking back to professors that always kind of talk about pumping out quality, like not staying on just one project, like keep it going. How do you maintain that level of consistency yourself? Is it multiple projects going on all at once? Are you just kind of focusing on one at a time? Like how are you keeping this going?
Yeah, it's multiple projects going on at one time. And it's also just paying attention to what I'm most interested in. It's like the desire to make work that was inspired by him didn't go away. And so I've kept making work that he inspired, and I probably will even after the show is over. It's kind of, I think it's just trusting what interests me, and I found that he was interesting. The way that he lived was interesting. There was something that I recognized in myself about like I'm desiring this level of presence and freedom. I think there's a spiritual um, journey that he's on that a lot of us, and I can say for myself that I know that I think is important. And so I think I was learning a lot of that from watching him also and from talking to him. And so yeah, I think it's just kind of trusting what inspires me and moving with that until that works itself out. And that might work itself out in one painting, but it might not work itself out for years, and I just I finish when I finish when I finish, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Then, I think I'm coming down to our final question here. So, I want to understand the sort of level of respect that you're putting into each of these paintings. Like each of these depictions of this man that you're having active conversation with, who's inspiring your own sort of spiritual progression. I want to understand, you know, when tackling each of these artworks, like in each sort of scene, each sort of depiction, what sort of mind space is going on to where you keep that same level of like you you're expressing, sorry, how are you expressing that connection to each of your piece and how you're respecting it?
Yeah, I mean, I think I respect it by making sure that I create each piece to the best of my ability and do the value of the like make the value of the work as close to equal as the value of the relationship, where I don't want to cut any corners or make anything that's haphazard. I also don't want to depict him in any light that is inaccurate. It's like I don't want to embellish his story to make it sensational. um I want to show what I've seen, and because I've seen a really spiritually realized person who is living this challenging experience with a lot of grace. I want to show that. Like that's what I want the viewer to see. And so yeah, as meticulous as I need to be with the works to show him in the light that I feel like he deserves to be shown, and that's what I'd like to do.
Okay, I see it. All right then. That wraps it up for this Q&A. Up again, I want to thank Omari Booker for having me here in the studio and the space. And yeah, thank you.
I appreciate you. Yes, yeah, thanks. Thank y'all.